Welcome to the Boise State Esports Arena. Tonight we're continuing our coverage of the Idaho High School Championships as teams compete in League of Legends to determine who is going to be the state high school champion. Should be a very fun match ahead of us. I am your host, Jacob Palmer, joined by Hayden Dalton to call all of the actions for you. And so last time we had League of Legends here on the high school level, we had Coach Moore and Narcoba with us, former league player. You also, a league aficionado. So how do you feel to finally be back on the desk casting some league?
Oh, it feels good. It's been a while. We haven't had league here as a main collegiate sport, so anytime we get a chance to cast it or even just see it here, a lot of people are excited.
Now, normally I don't do an opening question with just a how you're feeling thing. I'm just doing that, just acknowledging that it's been a while since you've casted league. The real question I have for you, though, is who do you most want to see as part of the game? Like, give us an overview of the two teams kind of competing here tonight, or just what picks or bans are you most cognizant of?
Just going into this, I think we're going to see probably either an Aurelian Soul pick or ban just because of how popular a champion he is right now and the ability to get those resets and that heavy scaling just very strong in the right hands.
It was quite interesting because we saw a Garen pick of all things be brought out last time, but that didn't really work too well. Had to go up against an Ornn, and that Ornn just knocked that Garen all the way back to...
Oh, jumping right in.
They're going to be going into Meridian Technical versus Canyon Ridge.
Yep, we'll have to see here because... Fiddlesticks right away.
All the way back to Demacia is what I wanted to say.
Yep. Ornn just has to live, and if he wins, even better. So.
All right, next ban is going to be coming through, this time on Canyon Ridge.
Yep, the Xayah ban, pretty good ban right now. Xayah is just really strong in the current meta, and not surprising to see.
And the Caitlyn ban is going to be coming through. Just always that good bottom lane carry that can always scale up well. She's just kind of commonly just been there in League's history. She's always, kind of been solid.
Yep, literally just that attack range just instantly makes her a good pick no matter what.
And talking about, we were talking about big burly tanks. We got Mordekaiser as the next ban for Canyon Ridge.
Yep, the very deadly, very hard to pull off combo Flash R, is just so good right now. So. Getting that out of the way. A Kha'Zix ban, actually, as well. You don't see that too often, especially this late into the League days, like Season 4, Season 6. Like, you probably see a Kha'Zix ban, but not anymore.
Well, now we actually get to see who is going to be in the spotlight, as only one more ban is going to go through. It's going to be Jarvan the Fourth.
Yeah, just a solid tank. Like, you can't go wrong picking a Jarvan.
And now we'll see what the actual picks are brought out from Meridian Technical and Canyon Ridge. We didn't see that Aurelian Soul ban, so that is up for grabs.
Okay, we got a Vex in here. Interesting. I know Vex in the right hands is just so deadly because of that reset on her R and the AoE fear coming from it as well. Like, you can just chain kills together if you get that bit of a lead and just get that snowball rolling.
First pick for Canyon Ridge is going to be the Ashe.
Now the question is that Ashe ADC or Ashe support?
I just have too many bad memories of Ashe freezing everything in Runeterra, so I am not a fan of Ashe, but I am a fan of the Amumu, my personal pick there. So I'm glad to see that's in for this week. It got banned last week, and I was very, very disappointed. So I'm not as disappointed this week.
There we go. Yeah, right now they already got so much CC just between these two characters alone on their team. The Rammus coming out as well.
So overall, what kind of general structures are you seeing here? Are you seeing kind of a method to the madness so far? I mean, you mentioned all the CC that Canyon Ridge has, but what do you think Meridian Technical is trying to assemble as a complete comp?
From what I can see so far, it looks like a hard engage with the Rammus followed up by the Vex. So, like, Rammus can lock him down. Oh, and then you have the Lilia in here now. So, yeah, it looks like just an all-in dive comp or something like that, where you just go in with Lilia, Rammus, and then Vex can follow up and just get those chain resets.
But is the CC that Canyon Ridge is going to be bringing out, is that going to be enough to kind of shut down these dives?
It remains to be seen. I think if you can pick the Lilia before they can really do damage, that'll be huge for this engage. But if you just CC the Rammus, you might have a bad time with the Lilia and the Vex afterwards.
And now we're done with the first round of picks. Time for the remaining 2 bans from each team. Canyon Ridge brings out their first.
Getting rid of the Urgot here, as we've seen some players just pop off with Urgot and just become this one-man army that you have to send 3 or 4 people top to go and deal with. So, yeah, an Akali ban as well. Very scary if you are mechanically gifted with her.
Yep, always scary when you just got those players that can just do. Lock in the angle, whether you're talking about they want to do a 180 angle or spin the mouse around 270 or do whatever the equivalent is of a 360 no-scope. I mean, the players who can land those abilities from far away, I'm mainly thinking, Zoe with the paddle star and her ultimate. It's like players are scary with their reaction times and how well they can line up some of these abilities.
Some of these champions, like in the right hands, just completely different than someone who picked them up for the first time. So just getting that out of the way is a safe bet here. Just not having to worry about that. The Darius ban. Yeah, not surprising. Darius can be extremely scary if he gets ahead. And just the pentakill dunks, as long as he gets one set of his passive off on someone, can just change entire team fights.
Now just 2 picks remaining for each team.
Ooh, the Azir pick coming out here. Gonna see some Azir gameplay, which he recently got changed, so a lot of Azir, he doesn't get that attack speed anymore, but they buffed his AP ratios. So he's a lot more of like a consistent damage mage, but he's not attacking as fast. So it'll be interesting to see how well the player is on Azir, as well as the Azir changes in this game.
Next pick from Meridian Technical comes through.
Yep, big fan of this one. As a Senna Jhin main, it's good to see Jhin coming out here. Just also kind of like Caitlyn, or just a really safe pick. He provides a lot of utility as an ADC. So he doesn't necessarily have to get ahead or really do anything extremely risky. He can just sit in the back line, provide CC, place his mines down, and use his ult efficiently just to get good value out of him.
The final pick is going to be Olaf to round things off for Meridian Technical.
Okay, now this brings up something. Who is their support? Is it a Lilia support?
That's what I was wondering here.
We have someone in the production room, actually, who plays a pretty mean Lilia support, so it can be done. Lots of poke with the bowling ball, and then especially paired with Jhin, like there's a lot of CC and damage you can pop off in a really short amount of time.
And then one final pick for. Oh my goodness!
There it is.
What is even going on? Are they just trying to make it work at this? Okay, they're going with the Garen now.
Garen into Olaf. That is an interesting matchup. I actually do not know how that goes. I don't feel like I see a Garen often enough, let alone a Garen into an Olaf.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't really see a Garen period here, but I guess we're going to be set up for a lot of spinning. So much spinning ready. We'll see manages to work out this time. If Canyon Ridge does have, maybe it is a comfort pick for them, this Garen. We'll just have to see. Now, as we wait out the spectator delay, we get a chance to just kind of talk about what these teams need to do in general to succeed, and shout out our sponsors. Idaho Army National Guard brings us the top 5 plays of the game every night. They invite you to take your impressive critical thinking skills into real time. More than 10 jobs offering a $20,000 bonus and your degree of choice paid for. The Idaho Army National Guard is one of the best teams to join out there. Reach out to them on Twitch at iGuard Gaming. And as I was saying, Doc's keys to the game in League of Legends is going to be focus on a strong comp, play to your comp, Remember your win condition, and of course, always keep in mind maintaining that dragon control. It's all brought to you by Drop-In Gaming, the premier online platform for gamers who seek competition. Play your favorite games to win cash and prizes through free and paid entry matches and tournaments. Whether you're new to the scene or a seasoned veteran, Drop-In Gaming has the right games and competition for you. So one very interesting thing, you weren't here on Monday when we did our first high school league broadcast, but this is something I think I need to fill you in on. That game ended very quickly. So quickly, in fact, that we didn't even get to see Baron spawn. So, yeah, it was just a lightning fast. So hopefully this one goes a little bit longer.
Yeah, just looking from the two teams, it looks like they're very reliable teams at the very least. So it's not very feast or famine teams. If they fall behind, the game's just over. And
we were talking about the last key to the game, dragon control. This is the question I want to ask you as we're looking at the overall comps, the drafts that each team managed to employ. What do you think are going to be some of the most, what dragon soul are the teams really looking after? Like, oh, that one would be so good for us.
Ooh, that's kind of a tough one with these matchups. Obviously, I think Infernal Soul is probably the best one just because more raw damage. Like, what team doesn't want that?
I mean, sure, that's kind of that's always the good one.
Yeah. I think for the side of Meridian Technical, is it Chemtank Soul?
Chemtech?
Yeah, the Chemtech Soul would be fairly good because they have a lot of characters who want to be in these long engaged fights where like they get kind of low and keep fighting through it. So just getting that extra armor and damage when they get lower in HP, like especially for Olaf, like that's basically his bread and butter. So.
Interesting thing is we didn't see Chemtech on Monday. We did see Hextech, though. That was the soul that was brought out. I do believe a Cloud was the first one as well. Cloud Infernal, then Hextech. So.
Oh, yeah. Actually, speaking of Cloud Soul, that would be a pretty great one for Meridian Technical as well because you got Rammus and you got Lilia. And just making them go even faster, like you'd hate to see that if you're on the other side.
Just the I'm so zippy composition.
Yeah. Try and hit that Lilia with your Ash Arrow. That's not going to happen. So
I don't know. Like I said, I bring you back to what we were talking about earlier. Some players are just scary, okay? They will predict where you are. You give one pixel to them and they'll land it. Some of these players.
Yeah, we'll just have to wait and see here as we're getting into games soon.
Now, what are the items that you're going to be most looking for as we see kind of the shop feed in the bottom of the screen for any of these particular champs? What item is really going to be kind of a major break point for their power level?
I'm not entirely sure. I think specifically for the Olaf, I don't know exactly what Olaf top builds, but seeing if he goes the lethality Olaf route. I don't think he will, but I've seen players do it where they go like crit lethality Olaf and just plan on snowballing the game from like 3 easy fights early because of Olaf's absurd dueling power. And then he just becomes like a one-shot machine that you can't even crowd control down. That would be very fun to see, but I don't know if that'll happen.
Part of me is just, part of the dark side of my soul just wants to see all the CC that you see from this Ashe and this Amumu just come through. I'm just the type of player that I always get annoyed at the fast mobile heroes. And like, if I see a scenario here where it just they're able to ramp up so well that they're just able to shut down anything, that's the kind of gameplay I like. The kind of like, you're just standing still. You don't really get to play right now.
Yeah.
But that's why I say it's the dark side of my soul. It's a completely bitter mentality.
Oh, yeah. They're very satisfying to play. Not quite as satisfying when you're on the other end and you're like, oh, I just don't get to play the game. I'm curious on the bot lane for the side of Canyon here. Because they have the Ashe and the Amumu. I wonder if that's an Amumu support. That'd be a very scary bot lane. Just one bandage toss, one Ashar, and then you're probably not moving for the rest of that lane. So that'll be pretty interesting to see.
And then that's a case where even I could land the shot. Maybe. So maybe 50-50 on that. Yeah. I'm still trying to get down non-moving targets.
Yeah, as long as the Amumu just walks up and presses R, you can hit everything. So just got to wait for the Amumu, and it's all.
Just get away,
Yeah.
Don't let the sadness drag you down. All right, so we're just about ready to head into this match. Once again, this is Canyon Ridge versus Meridian Technical in this Idaho High School Championships tournament. All these teams have been competing over the spring semester to make it toward the playoffs. So another win here, to kind of end the regular season could really kind of be the breaking point for either of these teams to get them above that cut line. So we'll ultimately see how it plays out. I'm pretty sure that we are almost past the 3 minutes, the customary 3 minutes of spectator delay. So we will be getting down to Summoner's Rift very, very quickly. And I'm sure it's a visit that you have very much missed, being able to go back to Summoner's Rift, hear the orchestral music, the serene string instruments playing, and the never-ending ping sounds that come out.
Oh, yes, the question mark ping of multiple meanings. That's just iconic at this point in the game.
It's like the Charlie Brown teacher, the wah, wah, it just could mean anything at this point, you know what I mean?
You could be telling them they're missing. You could be some other things.
The universal sound is what it is. And then, of course, you get mad at your teammates for not knowing the exact thing you're trying to say.
I pinged a question mark.
I pinged a question mark. I couldn't lay it out any clearer for you. Uninstall the game.
Going into this, is there any character players you're looking out for, or any champions that you're hoping to see really pop off in this game?
After seeing the hard time that the Garen had in the top lane on Monday, I just hope that it's at least even. I think like 5 minutes into the match, we were looking at the top lane CS, and it was like already 80-20 in favor of the not Garen. So, I mean, let's just stay even and try to work our way through there, too, because it was very much a steamroll in the top lane, which, I want to go back to just hitting each other with pool noodles until we can reach our breakpoints with the major objectives.
Yeah, just pretend that none of the lanes exist, none of the laners, and just both have a good time top lane and just farming.
Just
that's what
farm.
It's all about.
That's the main thing. It's just farm at this point, and we'll try to go from there. All right, Canyon Ridge High School versus Meridian Technical. We are now down to Summoner's Rift. Time for everyone to set up before all the minions spawn.
Looks like we're having an invade coming in here from the side of Canyon Ridge. Actually have a very decent team they have enough CC and damage with Rengar here for an invade. So this could be really good if they can catch a squishier target off guard here. They just barely missed each other there walking through. Looks like neither team actually saw each other. It looks like it is Jhin Rammus bot lane, actually.
All right, it looks like we have a tech pause being brought out here. Sometimes it's the nature of live events like this. You got to make sure everyone is locked in terms of their connections and everything. So that's very interesting that we saw that bot lane coming. I was not expecting that because we were just kind of setting. You were thinking it might have been Ashamumu, but it's
yeah, I was thinking for the side of Meridian, it was Jhin Lilia, because, I don't know, maybe I'm biased because I have played that lane quite a bit, actually. I would have thought it would even be Jhin Vex, but not Jhin Rammus. So that's interesting to see coming out here. I guess it could work. You have a lot of CC. As well as speed. So
you're just saying we could potentially see a CC versus CC matchup.
Yeah,
we just throw all the abilities out and no one gets to move on the field.
The battle of never moving.
Let's just make it the staring contest.
Just watch both sides stun each other at the same time, and they're just CC'd right next to each other.
Yeah, it's a staring meta. We're going to see a whole new way of doing things brought out here tonight. Just try to stand there menacingly. Whoever has the most menacing stare will win.
All right, going back in.
Meridian Technical versus Canyon Ridge. And off we go as the minions have just spawned. Looks like we still got a few things to iron out, but here we go. And so they're going to be starting off Canyon Ridge with, kind of that very interesting push into Meridian Technical's territory, going for red buff to start things off.
Yeah, taking the red buff right away. It looks like there was no wards on it, so it looks like they're just going to take it. Maybe Meridian Technical guessed they were taking it because they kind of just walked out. So we'll have to see if they counter jungle, but if not, then that could be a pretty good setup for this Rengar to get both red buffs as well as their blue buff, which could be very detrimental for Lilia.
Minions have spawned.
Oh yeah, it looks like the ping came out actually for Garen to check their red buff in case that exact situation was happening. Looks like... yeah, just both teams kind of playing it patient here. Just the side of Canyon Ridge just hoping someone walks to the red buff here so they can surprise them. And if not, they get a free red buff, so.
Yeah, does indeed look like that's going to be the case. Yeah, you know, you just have to wonder, you know, what that Rammus is doing in the bottom lane, just wondering where everyone is.
Yeah, looks like they were expecting to do a little bit of early game fighting, but no one showed up. It's going to be a little risky for Ashe and Amumu to walk through here. Forced. Oh, CCing the Rammus, Ignite coming out, getting some good damage in, and they actually get first blood onto the Rammus. Ashe just with those slowing arrows from her Q just make it so hard for escape. Rammus even flashing out of there, and it was not enough. Got Olaf and Garen just chilling in the top lane here. Not expecting too much to be going on early in this lane. See. Vex getting the fear off and hitting the Q, just some solid poke in here. Jhin playing pretty up front with Rammus still on his way to lane. Rammus being level 1 here, they need to make sure that they don't get another fight and then tell Rammus. Okay, Rammus hitting 2 here now. As soon as Rammus hits level 3, this could be a very good situation for Meridian Technical.
Just a question of how much in your face Canyon Ridge gets against the Dragons. Actually seeing James Shadow caught way out back in Canyon Ridge's territory, and Garen's chasing after him, tries to spin, and he's just going to spin away. Gets hit by the tower. Oh my goodness. If only you knew he's right there. There you go.
Unfortunately, not able to get that execute. Azir picking up the kill should be very beneficial for him here. Getting that much needed gold for their, I believe the new first item on Azir is Nashor's Tooth, so getting that sooner the better for Azir. Azir taking some big poke from the electrocute damage from Vex. Does have the blue buff though, so this laning phase is going to be very comfortable for Azir while that blue buff's around. Can feel free to spam a lot of their abilities. The shifting sands coming in, moving up, gets some good damage on Vex, but Vex will just walk away.
So far, not seeing too much of a pull away in terms of CS for either team. It's not really no much more of a lead than 5 in any of the lanes.
Yeah, we have fairly even with Ashe. Actually, they lost part of that wave at level 1, but Ashe is actually up ahead in CS at this point, even after that, as well as a kill. So very good situation for this Ashe right now.
Meridian Technical. I'm going to run out of minions for the next one. I'm going to get pushed back. The placement minion swarms are coming in, however. So far, despite, you know, that initial first dive into Canyon Ridge, that Canyon Ridge pulled out, things have been pretty complacent so far the first few minutes.
Yeah, both teams kind of just farming out here. A lot of these, both these team comps are looking for a lot more objective-based skirmishes. So we'll probably see things become a lot more lively. Oh, actually burning the flash from the Vex here. Gonna be huge for this Azir, especially when he hits they hit 6 here soon. Actually, the ult coming out from Vex misses. And Azir able to get a lot of pressure on this tower. We also see the first dragon is the Chem Dragon. So it looks like that one, I believe, is out of the running for what the soul will be. Rengar in this bot lane. Garen is collapsing in on him, though, but they don't really have much CC. You see Olaf popping the ghost. Garen flashes and ults, but unfortunately it was not enough. Actually, as long as Rengar or Olaf can get out here.
Oh, he might not. Waka's has his number, moves in, spares the ult, and that's going to do it. He picks up Rebel Lord.
It was almost good because Olaf did get a lot of summoners out early on, but unfortunately Waka, just with that good rotation and the game sense to know that they were probably in that bush, even gets the ult out of the Olaf there. See good counter jungling, taking the blue buff, knowing that Lilia isn't around. We see it looks like a gank was trying to be set up in the bot lane, but it looks like there was a ward and Canyon Ridge was not falling for it. Oh, and a collapse. Gets the bandage toss.
That's on to Wandering, and he just can't make it out of there, and that should clear things up pretty well for, I think, maybe an attempt on the chem tech.
Yeah, looks like just gonna get Scuttle Crab, possibly though. Looks like Rengar is making their way down. We got good use of the shield there, absorbing that axe. Garen, while they haven't been able to do a whole lot, is such a good pick in this situation with the health regen that they're just able to endure and not let this Olaf get any aggressive leads from this poke. So as long they're just kind of nullifying this Olaf at the moment.
Minion push up to Rebel Lord is a big opportunity for him. Just the spin is just moving right through his health bar. It just evaporates.
Yeah, it looked like the Rebel Lord accidentally auto-attacked Garen there and pulled turret aggro. Very unfortunate. I believe they were just looking to get the plate. We do see Waka coming down, but unfortunately not quite enough range. Actually, heal being blown by the Jhin here. So I guess, yeah, that ended up being a successful gank. Getting that summoner out is going to be huge if they ever decide to push for another fight.
Poking and pressure being placed onto Meridian Technical. Canyon Ridge across a lot of the lanes too, especially the top lane as well. I mean, even though Garen is trailing a bit in CS, that's kind of made up to the fact that he's managed to get some of the gold off the turret plating and is just able to just bully Rebel Lord right now. We see another...
Oh, bandage toss coming out again. Focusing the Jhin. Jhin flashes, and ooh, that bandage toss. What was that? Killian actually picking that up. Wow. Burning both flashes there as well. Getting a double kill. That is huge for the side of Canyon Ridge. Skirmish coming out here. Ooh, the Vex ult coming in, and that's actually a 2-for-1 plus Rift Herald for the side of Meridian Technical.
Nice way to stop the bleeding. I would think there's just enough time to probably just pick up one turret plating and then move on from there. Oh, who was going to get caught out? Rooted.
Jhin coming out, but looks like the Cake is able to body block it for Killian here. And they will walk away. 3K gold up on the side of Canyon Ridge. This Rift Herald, though, should help with that. as they should be able to get a nice chunk of turret plates off that if used correctly.
Still isn't any tower that's been picked up for either team, so Meridian Technical, you know, getting that first tower bonus could help them just kind of close the gap in terms of their gold differential.
We actually see Azir has, I believe that's Crown of the Shattered Queen, picked up as well. So already 11 minutes in the game with their Mythic, sitting in a really good spot. It's Ashe, the slow, the R coming out, just running down Penguins here. And unfortunately, there's no getting away from that. Oh yeah, Ashe does have the Kraken Slayer as well. So, plus the boots and the slowing, like there's just no getting away. The damage is too high.
Garen ult expelled on the Rebel Lord. Doesn't quite pick him up. He dives under tower to live to fight another day.
Ember is just getting kited out here. Not fast enough to catch him, but also not fast enough to get away. Getting some good damage in, but the defensive ball curl is going to help alleviate some of that and damage the Ashe in the process of getting hit. Oh, looks like the dive's coming out. Emperor's Divide does miss, but it still is enough, and they manage to pick up the kill and survive. Looks like we see James heading down to the bot lane, possibly. He needs to use that Rift Herald before it expires. Possibly gain a good gank in this bot lane. We see 4 members of Meridian Technical grouping up for this.
This could be the do or die fight to bring them back in the game. Seems like they'd have a 1-player advantage engaging.
Oh, actually, they're going to go for Dragon here. Let's see. We'll see if they drop the Rift Herald before they start Dragon. So the Canyon Ridge has to decide on which objective to stop. Actually, look like they're collapsing on mid. The Vexar does land with the Fear, followed up by Jhin Root. But Garen with the Q tenacity just is too fast and is able to just walk on out of there.
Still don't see the Rift Herald being brought out by Meridian Technical. Seems like Canyon Ridge has caught on to their positioning in mid. Already they got all 5 players heading into river to kind of collapse on this Dragon. Rebel Lord is up there to pick up one turret plating, but this Hex Tech is going to be going over to Canyon Ridge most likely.
Yep, and it goes uncontested, and Canyon Ridge will pick up a second Dragon.
Oh boy, okay, so we were talking about the Inferno, you know, you just want that damage and the chance to get that. Of course, maybe you don't even need it when you've just got an attack like this. Cake is unstoppable. Going to be able to take out Penguin. This bottom lane, it's starting to kind of snowball in Canyon Ridge's favor.
Yeah, and with a lane like Ashe Amumu, like, all it takes is one mistake, and you're probably dead, because there's no getting away. And they have the damage advantage at this point, so the only thing that Meridian Technical's bot lane can do is just survive in CS, and then hope they can be a little more useful later in the game. I see Rift Herald coming out bot, but it's so far away from tower, and both Ashe and Amumu are here. I don't think it's going to even get any value out of it.
That is rough.
Yeah. This Lilia does need to be careful. Ends up blowing Flash. Rammus, it does ignite. And it looks like that's about all they're going to get off that. It looks like a dive in this bot lane might be coming out here. We see Rengar coming in as well. The Bandage Toss lands into the Amumu ult, getting some good damage. Drops turret aggro though. Cake picks up the turret aggro onto Waka, but it looks like a double kill coming out for Waka in that turret dive. Most likely going to also result in first turret bounty gold.
Might. I was gonna say, they might, thinking maybe a T2 turret, but now they're just gonna play it safe, not risk the big lead that they've built up for themselves.
Yeah, which is smart. Ashe does have a 600 gold bounty on them, so throwing that away, if it falls on like Vex or even on Jhin, like that could be pretty detrimental here. No need to risk it. Olaf popping the ghost.
Is this gonna keep the Garen at bay for now? That is the ult spent for Rebel Lord. Garen is still holding on to his. See another team fight breaking out in mid.
Ooh, that Lilia Eve, very good right there. Popping Crown off the Azir, allowing them to not have to worry about that if a team fight does break out. Rammus coming in. Oh, nope. Ember's just kind of passing by, looking threatening. Emperor's Divide coming out, misses from Waka. And it looks like we got a game of ARAM on our hands.
This tower is being pressured very much. It's down to about 25%. And we might have a battle between both teams to see who got the final hit onto that Rift Herald. And then Geronium comes in with the flank. Blazed Embers finds himself right in the middle of all the action, trying to flash away. It's just going to get spun to death, and 3 from Meridian Technical go down.
Yeah, it looks like they're, ooh, they get the root onto Penguin, but not able to follow it off. It looks like they're just going to pressure this tower and bring it down. With a Rift Herald coming out here, Penguin's forced to flash, but gets out with their life. Ults, a little too close though. Shifting Sands brings Waka into range, and they manage to pick them up as well.
This Rift. Oh, I was thinking the Rift Herald is just holding on by health, so is actually going to get a charge on one of the base turrets.
Yeah, and huge damage here. Azir passive coming out as well, putting up this turret, which did get buffed with those Azir changes. So this turret is not to be taken lightly. I believe it scales off of Azir's own AP now. Ooh, and the Vexar lands on Waka, gets a huge shutdown. I believe that was a 1K shutdown for Wandering here, which gets Wandering most likely their mythic here.
See, the Garen is going to recall. It seems like everyone is going back to purchase some more. Leaves this first Infernal possibly open for Meridian Technical, and it's the minion damage on this turret is going to bring it down to half.
Yeah, I believe Meridian does have bounties on these turrets, so if they manage to snag any of these turrets, that's going to be a lot of gold coming their way, which they could really use at this point in the game, being down about 7K gold.
Canyon Ridge is back and ready to fight on the Infernal. Going to try to mow that thing down as fast as they can, but you have a few Meridian Technical hanging out on the other side, maybe trying to wait it out to go in for the steal. Vision drops, and Canyon Ridge is going to claim the 3rd dragon of the game.
Waka, Emperor's Divide splits up the Rammus here. Gets a good Amumu ult, but it's not going to be enough. The Cake taking down Wandering here. No gain away from that slow. We see Embers doing the best they can, but into 4 of them, not a winning fight. Ooh, the Cake getting the Ashel. Gets the slow, pops the flash, and that'll be an ace for the side of Canyon Ridge. Yeah, you were mentioning those really good Ashe arrows, and there we are.
That should be the turrets. Turrets falling in all of the lanes. There's actually 1 T2 turret still available in bot lane. Yeah, they don't have the minions, unfortunately, for them to push up against these kind of first base turrets, so it's just enough time for Meridian Technical to come back in, maybe for one more engage. Ooh. Meridian Technical is still sitting on their ultimates and pops them all at once.
Unfortunately, the Vex damage just isn't there. Got a really good ult there, but just not any damage to bring it down. Killian, unfortunately, being a sacrifice, allowing the Cake to get away.
Yeah, Ashe is the real prize for that 700 bounty.
Yep, that's such a good Vex ult, but just, yeah, not enough damage at this stage in the game.
And you got to think that was kind of the last main push from Meridian Technical. I mean, they still have the Olaf ult, but Canyon Ridge, all of their ultimates are back and ready to use. So this next team fight, I think Canyon Ridge could just bowl over Meridian Technical, take out the first base turrets, and maybe even go in for the Nexus ones.
Yeah, so Olaf going for the Ravenous Hydra here. No boots at the moment. Olaf does have a lot of slows and a decent amount of movement speed from his ult, so I don't know how necessary the movement speed would be.
Just, I told you we had the situation on Monday where Baron wasn't even needed. So Canyon Ridge, you know, they might try to get the Baron just as a final. Oh, stun is going to land onto the Vex, and Cake just melts his health away.
We see, Rebel getting caught out here, as well as Burning Embers. And that is going to be 3 down for the side of Meridian Technical with an open mid lane. Looks like James and Penguins are going to have to hold out for about 25 seconds before they can even fight this.
Inhibitor's going to go down in mid, and now we head on to the Nexus turrets. Lane still holding on to his ultimate. Could be that one final team fight. And this might just be it. They're moving in on the first Nexus turret. Healing is going to pop. Curse of the Sad Money. James Shadow trying to get away. Very low on health. The spin comes out. A shutdown. Brought back onto Rakshi. So 50 gold. Not the worst turn of events here for Meridian Technical.
Yeah, unfortunately, the shutdown did go to Burning Embers on the Rammus here. But it's still a shutdown to be had.
Cake, this is the bounty you want here. He is going to be shut down. 700 gold. Double kill for the Olaf.
Garen actually flashing away, too, at the very end there. So 2 kills and a flash. Massive amounts of value coming out here for the Rebel Lord. Waka just holding everyone at bay between their Sand Soldiers and the turret. Now, having the super minions here isn't the worst thing in the world, because the gold value from those super minions, if left alone long enough and they can survive, that is a good income source for Meridian Technical to get back into the game, since it's always pushing back toward their base.
They were trailing by around 10K, and now they've managed to kind of whittle that down with a few key shutdowns to, well, I was going to say 7K, but it's back at a 10K differential. So there's still quite a long way to go here.
Yeah,
but like all these, like you said, super minions, that's going to be a lot of gold brought back over to Meridian Technical. And already it seems Canyon Ridge wants to go for this second Infernal.
Yeah, looks like they're setting up. This is not a fight that Meridian Technical can give up lightly, as this will be Soul for the side of Canyon Ridge. So if they do give it up, they probably need to trade Baron for it.
In goes the Drake.
Looks like the call is made. I think they are going Baron off it, actually. I can't tell exactly what Lily is doing over there, but
well, they got to really hoof it if they want to pick off the Garen with enough time, because now Canyon Ridge.
It looks like they started it, but they started it too late.
Yeah, that's they don't have time to burn it down. There's so many ultimates up from Canyon Ridge as well. Geronium is moving right in, is going to spin right past Blazing Embers, who's also silenced. Moves in, still has his ult available. Tries to get away, and they managed to flip the Baron all by themselves, and I think that's probably going to be it.
Yeah, the Baron does more damage and has more resistance the less players are around it. So only having 3 members on the side of Meridian Technical, just they need one to at least keep pushing back the super minions, but just unfortunate timing. Gets to sleep, actually picks up 1 kill. Waka picking up Penguins, though. Looks like Rebel Lord uses ult and Ghost, but is able to get out of there.
Waka very quickly making work of this Nexus turret. question is this kind of has to be the last stand by Meridian Technical. Good news for them is most of the ults have been spent by Canyon Ridge. Emperor's Divide is going to go right out and try to break things up, but Geronium is just an unstoppable force on this Garen.
Just a solid wall between the rest of the team here. You want to get through them, you got to get through me. That Dead Man's Plate as well as Stridebreaker, just Garen can just move so quick, and it has the ability to just burst down a single character, so everyone's got to be cautious of them.
Once again, it's kind of the, you know, I think the main thing that Meridian Technical could have tried to turn things around would have been trying to just trade those objectives, but they were just so slow in engaging on that Baron. Canyon Ridge now just claimed both, second Infernal, and the Baron as well. It's not looking good.
Yeah, we see, surprisingly, they did manage to hold out most of the Baron. I believe it should be expiring soon. Waka here is setting up their passive turret up on this tier 2, just kind of making it hard for Meridian Technical to push past it and giving a little more safety to Waka as they're up by themselves here.
Both red buffs are going to be taken. The inhibitor has respawned, but you have to think how much longer is that going to be the case. It's already back down to half health as Waka is just going to take it out himself. A lot of ultimates back online for Canyon Ridge as well. So one final team fight going to maybe decide the match right here, right now. Dive and Ghost Blazing Ember is taking a whole lot of damage. None of the Qs being used quite yet. For Canyon Ridge, they don't even need him. They're just going to mow down the turret. The Garen is just going to spin right against the Nexus, take out everyone from Meridian Technical. They try to bring out the Emperor's Divide. One last minute, but the Curse of Sad Mummy and Ash ult is also popped. They move in, and they think this Nexus is gone. Canyon Ridge claims it.
There we have it. I will say Meridian Technical held out a lot longer in that fight after so many objectives didn't go their way, and like not having Infernal, not having Baron, they were still able to survive for as long as they did. That was,
yeah, I think it really was the difference was the objectives for this round, because you think of what Meridian Technical did claim. I mean, they claimed the first Rift Herald, but that Rift Herald wasn't even able to get one charge out. Meanwhile, you know, you got the Canyon Ridge's Rift Herald got all the way to the first inhibitor turret. So I think it mainly is kind of a lesson of just trying to control those objectives better. You know, they weren't able to get the mileage out of the Rift Herald. They claimed Baron just too slow, and that allowed Canyon Ridge to claim everything. So hopefully Meridian Technical can dust themselves off and improve, and we'll see more of them later in the season.
Yep, because, yeah, as we saw there, like they have the potential. They were able to hold out as long as they did. It's just, yeah, getting the, I think, yeah, the objectives.
We're going to throw to a quick break and then be back with more esports action. So stay tuned after these messages. We'll be right back.
Here are a couple lessons I've learned over the years. Friendships come in all shapes and sizes. And always buckle up. Seatbelts save lives. That's a rule we can all live by.
Dave, it's your Idaho Central app. I know this car got you through college, but check this out. In my credit, your credit score looks good. And there's a great rate on this auto loan so we can score a roomier ride. Whoa, who's driving this thing? The closest Idaho Central Credit Union branch is in your pocket.
Growing up in Idaho, we have certain rules we live by. First rule, camouflage never goes out of style. And always buckle up. Seatbelts save lives. That's a rule we can all live by.
NationalGuard.com to begin your guard adventure.
Idaho Central Credit Union, looking after your daily balance.
It's me, your Idaho Central Credit Union app. Rough morning. Is that a mobile deposit? I got this. Beat it, Charlie. We're making money moves here. Cha-ching. And done.
Charlie, come on, outside.
Sorry about the mess. I'd help if I had hands. The closest Idaho Central Credit Union branch is in your pocket.
Tell me, are you there for me even when I try? Keep on beating high.
Here are a couple lessons I've learned over the years. Friendships come in all shapes and sizes. And always buckle up. Seatbelts save lives. That's a rule we can all live by.
Idaho Central Credit Union, looking after your daily balance.
It's me, your Idaho Central Credit Union app. Rough morning. Is that a mobile deposit? I got this. Beat it, Charlie. We're making money moves here. Cha-ching. And done.
Charlie, come on, outside.
Sorry about the mess. I'd help if I had hands. The closest Idaho Central Credit Union branch is in your pocket.
Visit NationalGuard.com to begin your guard adventure.
Dave, it's your Idaho Central app. I know this car got you through college, but check this out. In my credit, your credit score looks good. And there's a great rate on this auto loan so we can score a roomier ride. Whoa, who's driving this thing? The closest Idaho Central Credit Union branch is in your pocket.
Growing up in Idaho, we have certain rules we live by. First rule, camouflage never goes out of style. And always buckle up. Seatbelts save lives. That's a rule we can all live by.
like a summer sunset. Doing things that I shouldn't, but it helps me reset. I'm fucked up, but it's fine, yeah. Anything to forget that it's all in my head. In my head, my head, my head. In my head, my head, my head. Get out of my head. Get out of my, get out of my head. Get out of my, get out of my head. Get out of my, get out of my head. In my head, my head, my head. My head don't feel like it used to. I miss my homies, yeah. The thing we had discontinued, but I'm not lonely yet. I don't wanna talk about it anymore. Yeah, I'm drinking cause I'm bored. Down by behind locked doors, yeah. In my head, my head, my head. In my head, my head, my head. Get out of my head. Get out of my, get out of my head. Get out of my, get out of my head. Get out of my, get out of my head. In my head, my head, my head. In my head, my head, my head. In my head, my head, my head. Get out of my head. I've been in the good times already. You can see it on my face. I know. No more racing. We got it. We could reach it. Yeah, we got it. And you know I'm feeling good like that. So what you gonna do? And I can't stop thinking about you. But what you gonna do? And you know I'm feeling good like that. So what you gonna do? And I can't stop thinking about you. What you gonna do? What you gonna do? What you gonna do? I've been in the good times already. You can see it on my face. I know. No more racing. We got it. We could reach it. Yeah, we got it. I'm feeling good like that. So what you gonna do? And I can't stop thinking about you. What you gonna do? What you gonna do?
Welcome back to the Boise State Esports Arena. You're currently joining us with Idaho High School Championships League of Legends game. Just got finished with our first game. We're prepared to move on to our second as Bishop Kelly goes up against Thunder Ridge. And from what I understand, this game's currently in progress, so we'll jump into the action pretty quickly. But I am your host, Jacob Palmer, joined by Hayden Alton to call all of the action for you here today. So now we're ready to head into the second match of the day. I have a prediction, or do you have a prediction in this one is going to be longer or shorter than the last one we have?
I think I'm going to go longer.
Longer, okay.
Yeah. Maybe not too much more. That's my kind of prediction. We'll see. Both these teams seem to be pretty quick about being able to close out matches.
Well, a lot is going to depend on what we see the drafts are for each team. So as soon as we head into that, we will be able to get a little bit more information for our predictions. But right now, we also just want to remind these two teams of no matter what they choose in terms of their drafts, they can always follow just the key fundamentals of the game. Thunder Ridge versus Bishop Kelly in this matchup in the Idaho High School Esports Championships. And we have Doc's keys to the game in League of Legends. That's going to be to focus on a strong comp, play to your comp, remember your win condition, and of course employ that dragon control. It's all brought to you by Drop-In Gaming, the premier online platform for gamers who seek competition. Play your favorite games to win cash and prizes through free and paid entry matches and tournaments. Whether you are new to the scene or a seasoned veteran, Drop-In Gaming has the right games and competition for you.
Yeah, bringing up that dragon control. We saw just how crucial that was in the last game, and see, just shows how important that is. Oh wow, level 1 fight here right away. See, Thunder Ridge actually getting first blood here. Lots of flashes being spent as well. We got, yeah, quite a bit going on. Literally 50 seconds into the game. Looking at these two different comps, it looks like we got
Minions have spawned.
Malphite, Kindred, Cassiopeia, Jinx, and Lux on the side of Bishop Kelly, and then Set, Sejuani, Syndra, Aphelios, and Yumi for the side of Thunder Ridge. Both these comps are very, or especially Bishop Kelly's comp is very hyper carry focused. We see the Jinx, Cassiopeia, and Kindred just being these very heavy damage dealers. If they get ahead, they stay ahead. While we got a lot more utility on Thunder Ridge's side between the Sejuani, the Set, and the Yumi. So it'll be interesting to see how these two play out.
He's going to start off with the. He's going to start off with a red buff for Thunder Ridge. Just this initial poking back and forth, trying to get those CSs, just really trying to level up first and foremost. Or maybe you just go right for Duck Flop. He's going to just tank his way through that damage. Probably not going to see too much burst damage until we at least hit level 6.
Yeah, going into this, we already have 3 flashes down between all the players. So see how that makes this early game play out a little differently. Some good damage back and forth in the top lane. And in the middle lane, right as I say that. Cassiopeia being that strong lane bully, being able to run down people as long as they get 1 poison coming out. We do see a barrier coming out by the Lux early on.
Despite all kind of the aggro that Dell's been putting onto Duck Flop, it's just still not too much of a difference in terms of health. It's going to force him back under tower, and in terms of the CS, actually, I think that's where this set is really winning for us. He's getting a great big push onto this turret.
Yep. Ooh, the Yumi Q hits. Looks like we got the slow. We got the root coming out. And Yumi actually picking up the first blood. Oh, the Set grit actually coming out barely. No, actually, no, they do pick up the Kindred there, and that ends up being a 1-for-1 in that situation. Very explosive game all of a sudden. See, just kind of the mid lane just chilling now. Both very aggressive champs, but they got to wait for their opportunities.
Yeah. In a twist of irony, it's the most pacifist lane we're seeing right now.
As we say that, though, good damage here from this Syndra, but unfortunately Syndra's a lot more burst damage.
Oh!
And barely doesn't get the kill. The Corrupting Potion tick damage also not enough.
It's going to be a channel away. Time to go shopping all around. Birdie also pushing up pretty far on this minion wave.
Yeah, the wave's in a really bad spot. You want to get it under this turret before you can back, so just need to focus on pushing here. So Yuumi Aphelios sounds like a very scary lane to be against. Just so much utility as well as versatility with the different Aphelios weapons.
Some of those minions are going to get under the turret. Fight breaking out in top lane.
Ooh, gets hit. I believe they got hit by the middle of that, turning that into true damage there. Duck Flop taking quite a bit of damage.
Duck Flop finding himself pressured once again. I mean, I gotta say, Dal, I mean, he wants to get that elimination as soon as he possibly can.
Good Lux binding coming out there. They kind of get that disengage, but they're so low under here. We do see Blue Sky kind of getting ready to support them if they need. But we do see Ultimate coming out here. QWERTY actually helping get down another, dies for it, but the kill actually goes to the Lux. So overall, not a bad trade. And they get a dragon.
Dow has just leveled up towards 6, so if I'm Duck Flop, I've got to be very concerned. And it turns out that concern is warranted.
Just picks you up and slams you down outside of your turret for a second. And that's all it takes in that situation.
Thunder Ridge off to a good start, picking up the Chemtech Drake.
Yep, this top lane's very oppressive. Duck Flop just needs to do their best to survive, and in the end, they just become a valuable tank for the rest of the game with that utility from their ultimate.
Dow already has a bounty onto him.
Oh, man. Yeah, such a strong lead here. Up quite a bit of CS as well. We don't see Duck Flop using TP there. Going to miss quite a bit of minions on the way back to lane.
This is the one opportunity he has to try to even out this CS differential that he has. So we'll see how many minions if he can just cleanly pick up all of the wave.
See, QWERTY actually with the Vamp Scepter on top of the Yuumi here. That's just going to be so much sustain. And the ultimate coming out from Ultimate, taking down ZKE and getting another kill under their belt. Possibly a turret plating with it as well.
Gold differential is already starting to open up. Thunder Ridge clearing about 3K of an advantage. It's only going to be made worse as this turret plating is just holding on. Duck Flop still is, I think he just leveled up towards 6, so now he finally gets his ultimate to use. I was going to say 2 engagements in a row, just that far behind on levels. He's just got to focus on just surviving and leveling up for the time being.
We do see also a Vamp Scepter coming out from Dal here. Dal actually flashing for that. Gonna do some good poke damage, but Duck Flop is just gonna press Q, get that movement speed, and get away. Blue Sky.
Certainly isn't blue skies for him.
Unfortunate, just barely not getting away. And yeah, that is the, oh, getting the good bind here, but Ultimate is behind them as well. QWERTY getting low, but the exhaust, just no damage coming out from Jumbly. ZKE trying to run them down, but the longer they fight, the more opportunity this Yuumi gets to heal them. If ZKE can pick this up, doesn't stun with the ultimate here, gets a shutdown though, gets another kill, and then actually a third kill. Massive for ZKE here, getting that Cassiopeia online could be what Bishop Kelly needs right now.
Duck Flop's forced back under his own turret. What do you see? Is anything standing out to you in terms of the items right now?
Interestingly enough, we see Dal picking up. It looks like he's starting Blade of the Ruin King, which in this matchup is actually fairly good. They're going to be a little bit less tanky, but just having that damage in as oppressive of a lane this is.
Oh no.
Dal and Fat Yoshi gets the ult in. Malphite ult actually manages to stun him out, but the Grit Shield, is it enough?
Ooh, that's
just
a lot
barely.
of damage.
Blue Skies get,
Get him. Get him.
Gets CC'd
Are you
down.
kidding me? The Sejuani, the Knight in Shining Armor, and the Rift Herald on top of that, taking out this top turret.
Oh, that's just one of those moments that just feels bad all around.
So both of the first two objectives have been claimed by Thunder Ridge. Seeing Jumbly for the Jinx, I mean, for the carry, still hasn't leveled up towards 6. Whereas there's already, Dal and Ultimate already up to level 8, so there's a huge level differential coming out between these two teams, and Thunder Ridge picks up another.
ZKE just barely not getting that kill. Had the lead, and it's slowly falling back now. Very unfortunate.
And we're just going to do some vision clearing for right now.
I actually don't know how good Everfrost is on Cassiopeia. I believe most Casses go Leandries, but I can see Everfrost not being bad, especially with the amount of CC they have with the Malphite.
World lead has opened up to nearly 5,000 now for Thunder Ridge. 3 of their players have bounties on them. And you also see it's just been a complete kind of almost steamroll in the top lane as well, just in terms of the CS. He's basically doubling everything that this Malphite can throw at him.
Yeah, this Malphite not really meant to win this lane, but more meant to just endure this lane. They don't want to lose too much, or else it's going to make it hard for them to maintain their usefulness later into the game.
Now we have a Hextech Drake being brought out. Thunder Ridge goes to try to get that one out as fast as possible. Do see Potato moving in slowly toward the river, but I don't know if they can safely engage for possible steal.
No, it looks like the call was to give it up. As we see Blue Sky moving on to just clear their jungle and get some more gold.
It's going to be Mountain that we're looking at for the Soul for this game.
With both these team comps, not the best thing in the world, but certainly not the worst thing either. See, just kind of everyone just kind of stepping back for a moment in this lane and just kind of getting some CS where they can. Al trying to get something, not able to find it. Ultimate getting some good damage in here on CKE, with CKE just trying to get some CS where they are able to.
Duckflop is becoming a lot more tanky, is going to expend his ultimate, try to put as much damage as he can onto Dal, but it's just not enough.
Yeah, in those extended fights, Dal's going to win every time, especially with the Conqueror build. Against Duckflop does have Arcane Comet, which is more for just poking. So Duckflop just wants those short engages. Anything longer than that is not going to be in their favor.
Dal now uses his ult, takes out Duckflop. That's for sure the first turret in the top lane going to be picked up.
Ultimate gets the stun, gets the Q into their ultimate, and that'll be another kill for Ultimate in the mid lane. Getting a bounty now. See, Blue Sky coming in here, the stun misses, the luck stun has to be flashed, and they actually get the turnaround, bringing down Blue Sky here. Unfortunately, Zelda Link Geek gets the kill, but at this point in the game, I don't think that matters too much.
Darkness will weigh upon them.
Turret plating up for grabs in the bottom lane.
We actually see, I think, we see a Dark Seal on the Yuumi right now, and I believe, I'm not 100% what that item is, but it is a very AP-heavy focused item.
Sedge comes in on the gank, spends their ultimate, and that is a clean win. ZKE going to be sent back to spawn.
Just picking up these turret plates here on this Aphelios. Already just gained so much gold here. We're almost at a 8K gold lead, actually just a little bit over now. The Arcane Comet procs too on this Yuumi just So much poke damage. Looking around this blue side jungle for blue skies and not able to find it. See, just waiting in this bush. Is anyone going to face check it? Gets the Q, gets the root. Lux ult coming out, but it's not enough, and Cordy will pick up another. Dow getting a good engage here, getting some hits in. Duck Flop forced to flash away. More Yuumi poke coming out here. Actually gets turret aggro because of the Scorch proc. Blue Sky starting Rift Herald. Gets caught by Dow. Dow ults them out of Kindred ult, and that's all they wrote.
It's going to be the first tower of the game picked up in bot lane.
Red team's turret has been destroyed.
And Jumbly actually makes it out with their life. Had to blow both heal and flash though. We see Dow finished. Blade of the Ruined King gonna be so difficult for Duck Flop to fight this. Just the amount of sustain and percent HP damage. As well as Duck Flop does not have any boots yet, which would help. Oh, flashes for the stun. Unfortunately, doesn't get it and will go down.
Rift Herald brought out in the top lane. Just one charge is going to do it, so going to move on to the T2 turret. Dow now dominating. He's kind of in a run with ultimate for the KDA lead. It's 6-1-1 versus 8-2-1.
Just a one-person army in this top lane. Ultimate gets the stun, forces Blue Sky to flash here. Can they bring down this turret before it kills the Herald?
Oh my goodness, Shelly with just 20 is going to be able to get another charge going.
Oh no, the cannon got it.
I was too optimistic.
Oh, Blue Sky did need to be careful there.
Thunder Ridge already engaging on this Mountain Drake, and I don't see anyone from Bishop Kelly near enough to be able to possibly steal it. So another Dragon going over to Thunder Ridge.
Unable to contest it. We actually see Cordy went Bloodthirster first item, not Shield Bow, which is what I was thinking. An interesting choice, but with the Yuumi, I can kind of see it because you just have so much healing that it'd be hard to win any outright engages. Oh, ultimate, getting some good damage, but ZKE and Blue Sky actually going down. That Syndra damage. Oh, they do have a Magi's, as well as Sork Boots and Ludens. They just have so much Magic Pen and AP at this point in the game. Good ward coverage will stop that gank from happening.
I have the best game in the spirit realm.
We see Blue Sky here. Currently level 9. We see the TP coming out by ultimate. Gets the stun into the W. We see Yuumi ult coming out, slowing everyone. Manages to get the stun onto Chloe. Jumbly stuck behind their turret. Aphelios, one more hit. Actually, ultimate gets that kill. And that'll be a 3-for-0 plus a tier 2. We see Blue Sky trying to hold on to this tier 2, but needs to be careful. Not much health left on it. And Cordy being as strong as they are with a Yuumi. Moving in, looking like they're ready for the dive. Flashes on, and the ignite. Just waiting out the ultimate. Leaps over the wall, but not enough. ZKE. Oh, turret aggro. This might be enough. And Cordy actually goes down there, giving a shutdown to ZKE. Big gold coming to ZKE here. If anyone's going to turn this game around, it would be them. Jumbly, unfortunately, finds Dow and ultimate and it just disappears. They're gone.
Not the only one who disappears. This turret is gone. That's all the T2 turrets picked up For Thunder Ridge.
Yep, looking at about a 16K gold lead here. This is going to be very difficult.
Yeah, and especially I like, you know, that they're channeling here. They're kind of working with the respawn that Cordy is facing as well. So it's going to be a pretty clean team re-engage. But Ultimate, you know, he just wants to keep on picking up stuff all by himself.
Got the full 25 stacks of a Magi's here. Very much a ton of AP, a ton of movement speed here. Going to be very difficult to catch with this Yumi, and hits like a truck. Gets the slow, gets the stun, and gets the kill. Even ZKE needs to be very cautious in this situation. See Dal moving up with Cordy, unable to catch Duck Flop here. Need to be careful though. All it takes is one ultimate.
Red team's turret has been destroyed.
Well, there's already another turret falling. One of the inhibitor turrets bites the dust.
Dal taking quite a bit of damage from ZKE, but not going to amount to anything.
Pretty sure this also means maybe one of the inhibitors picked up, and it would just be all because of Ultimate just soloing this.
Picking up another one. Unfortunately, they had to flash away. Still get hit by the stun. Ultimate not able to follow it up though. Ultimate does have their ultimate. They do collapse. They need Duck Flop to ult now if they have it.
And what an ult it is. 3 are down for Bishop Kelly. Duck Flop just trying to hang on, tank through it. He flashes away, but it's not enough.
They just needed to CC him down, use the Malphite ult first into the Cassiopeia ult, and they would probably have enough CC to bring down Ultimate, get rid of those Magi stacks, but...
And you see the Lux Ultimate being brought out there, but it didn't pick up anything.
Ultimate recalling here, we'll have to watch their item bar. They're going to come back, probably buy a full item and some components for another one here.
A pretty wide open Baron for Thunder Ridge. I think we're seeing the table be set for a final deadly push.
Yeah, not much you can do after this. We will see, oh, yep, a full death cap coming out for Ultimate here. Death cap plus full Magi's. That is a lot of AP. We're probably looking at least like 700-800 AP at this point in the game. And no magic resist on the side of Bishop Kelly.
And you know, why not stop at a Baron? How about this second Mountain Drake?
You may as well pick up Soul while you're perusing by.
Where he comes in for just a few shots over the wall. They pick up the Soul.
Yeah, I'm waiting to see one Syndra key is probably enough to one-shot.
I love the camera dedication we gave to that one super minion. Ultimate, still legendary, now up to 18-2-3.
Oh, look at that red buff.
And that's going to be the difference at this point.
See Purdy off in the sideline here, just kind of pushing along with Baron, doing a 2-1 split. Ultimate, just a one-person army. No Malphite up for the CC chain. Ultimate dodging everything. Dal catches ZKE, gets the showstopper here. Some good damage. DKA ults, but gets taken down by Ultimate. The flash stun into the kill. Gets Malphite ulted. Quad kill. Unfortunately doesn't get the penta. Duck Flop bringing down the last one, but Dal is going to make sure they get avenged.
And that is probably going to be all she wrote. The ace comes out. Turrets fall, and now there's just the Nexus left. Its health is going to melt. And Thunder Ridge picking that one up in convincing fashion 24 minutes into the game. Congrats to Thunder Ridge overall. I mean, we saw, it was kind of back and forth, and there were a few kind of shutdowns that were picked up by Bishop Kelly. One off of their own turret. I'm still remembering that.
Oh, yes.
So you kind of, hope that, in a game where if it was to be more even, I kind of wish you would have seen Thunder Ridge got punished a little bit more, for going so far in.
Yeah, there was a lot of shutdowns that were given over to especially like ZKE, who's a very good hyper carry with Cassiopeia, but just not able to make the most out of it, unfortunately. And then poor Duck Flop in that top lane. That is not a favorable matchup for Malphite, and Dal just kind of took over that lane.
Well, now we go on to the final match of the night. We'll take a short break and be back with another League of Legends match. 2 more schools preparing to battle it out. Don't go away. We'll be back.
Here are a couple lessons I've learned over the years. Friendships come in all shapes and sizes. And always buckle up. Seatbelts save lives. That's a rule we can all live by.
It's me, your Idaho Central Credit Union app. Rough morning? Is that a mobile deposit? I got this. Beat it, Charlie. We're making money moves here. Cha-ching. And done.
Charlie, come on, outside.
Sorry about the mess. I'd help if I had hands. The closest Idaho Central Credit Union branch is in your pocket. Dave, it's your Idaho Central app. I know this car got you through college, but check this out. In my credit, your credit score looks good. And there's a great rate on this auto loan so we can score a roomier ride. Whoa, who's driving this thing? The closest Idaho Central Credit Union branch is in your pocket.
Idaho Central Credit Union, looking after your daily balance.
Growing up in Idaho, we have certain rules we live by. First rule, camouflage never goes out of style. And always buckle up. Seatbelts save lives. That's a rule we can all live by.
Visit NationalGuard.com to begin your guard adventure.
Welcome back to the Boise State Esports Arena. You're joining us for our third and final game of the Idaho High School Championships in League of Legends. Now we move on to Mountain Home versus Blackfoot to see who is going to win the overall conference championship, I understand. So a very high-stakes game ringing out thus far. I'm still your host, Jacob Palmer, joined by Hayden Dalton to call all of the action for you. So this is a match that's a step above the other ones. This is for a conference championship, I understand. And we were discussing, we thought that that might lend itself to a longer game going forward.
Yeah, both these teams definitely have a lot more at stake, so we're probably going to see like all the stops pulled out here, a lot more playing more confidently as well as just playing more deliberately.
Well, I'm sure playing confidently and deliberately are not the only tips that we have for these players. We also have Doc's keys to the game in a League of Legends, and that's going to be to focus on a strong comp, play to your comp, remember your win condition, and of course employ that dragon control. It's brought to you by Drop-In Gaming, the premier online platform for gamers who seek competition. Play your favorite games to win cash and prizes through free and paid entry matches and tournaments. Whether you're new to the scene or a seasoned veteran, Drop-In Gaming has the right games and competition for you. I think that dragon control thing really harps on something that we've seen with the first two games so far tonight, and that was like all of the dragons or objectives kind of went over to one team. I think there was one instance where the losing team was able to pick up a Rift Herald, but pretty so far we haven't seen a lot of objective trading.
Yeah, we see a lot of very much just one team getting that control of the Dragon Pit or the Baron Pit for those Rift Heralds and just stick with it. Like, the other team never really feels confident enough to do that, and I think it's fine to give away some dragons, but you can't give away every dragon. So, or at least without taking something in return.
Right, and that's been something that we've seen a lot of teams struggle with, but maybe Mountain Home or Blackfoot can get themselves a comp or a draft that lends themselves a little bit better to being a little bit quicker on those rotations and objective trading. We'll just have to see what is brought out. And speaking of, are there any, based on the past two games that we've saw, are there any champions that you think are maybe guaranteed picks? Like what was most scary?
Ooh, that's a tough one. I think that Ashe pick originally, was just insane. Granted, it has to get ahead, but it provides so much utility if it doesn't, and I think it's just an all-around pick that I would be surprised if one of these teams didn't pick. Going back to dragon control, that made me immediately think of, someone needs to just pick Nunu and Willem. The fact that you have double smite and then just, those really good ganks, that just fits so well with how we've been seeing these fights play out with dragon control. You just have an automatic advantage with them.
And we definitely haven't seen really a whole lot of opportunities for steals in terms of the objective. Normally when objectives have been kind of collapsed on by a team, the other team has either all been wiped out. So we haven't had really of kind of those really nail-biting fights where another team could steal it out from the attacking team.
Yeah, it's very much one side just gets control of the Dragon Pit or they win the fight beforehand. So good timing on that. It's just both these teams need to be, I think, more aware of when Dragon's coming up and playing around that knowledge, not picking those risky fights, or the top laner maybe split pushing because he knows that they have to send someone up to him while the other four take a dragon or something like that. And so just having that deliberate knowledge ahead of time can go a long way.
We're just about on deck, ready for the picks and bans being brought out from both teams. After that, we'll have the standard 3-minute spectator delay before we head into the game. But while we wait for the action to start, we want to remind you that Boise State Esports is always looking for new talent in its varsity games, as well as production and caster roles as well. Top talent, along with good grades and eligibility, can increase your chances of being accepted to the program. So go to boisestate.edu/esports for more information on how you can try out. Tryouts are going to be pretty soon, actually. We have them at the beginning of every fall semester, so as we're just ready to head into summer break, we're just going to have a few months left before we could have a deluge of new players joining the Boise State program.
Oh, yeah. Always exciting to see the new faces around and seeing what they can bring to the table.
we'll just have to see what plays out this game, if any of the players this game is going to really make a name for themselves in this tournament, especially considering that now that we're into the postseason and we're into actual championships, then it is quite literally, you know, if you want to keep playing, you got to keep winning, or else you just go home for the whole semester.
Yeah, we'll have to see. With these picks coming out, is there anyone you do want to see? It may not be like the best thing or anything, but something, you know how we see the Garen pick, we know who's rooting.
I don't know, I always think, you know, when you get a good creative bard who can place, you know, those magical journeys down in unique places, I always like those kind of support heroes that just allow for very interesting entrances, so I'm thinking mainly in the class of, you know, of either Thresh or Galio with his hero's entrance, or just Bard, you know, setting up the portals everywhere. I just like those kind of supportive heroes where you can really see the creativity of the player behind them brought out, and just the technical skill in landing, you know, stuff like the hooks.
Yeah, that'd be really cool to see. From the glimpse I got, I did see that one of the players is a Bard player, so maybe we'll see that. So that could be something to look forward to coming up.
Now, one thing that's really stood out to me is that we haven't seen games go much past Baron. You know, we don't have a Baron fight and then the other team is able to really tough it out, and we might have, you know, Elder Drake be brought into the equation. You know, everything's just been very, you know, once a team gets, I'd say, about a 3K gold advantage, they've just pulled away from there on out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's very hard for these teams to stop that momentum and just play around the fact that they know that they can't win these fights outright without like just like CC chaining someone or catching them off guard. So these teams just, as we've seen from these last two games, just you got to play a little differently when you know you're behind on this gold to keep yourself into the game.
Yeah, and that is one of the main things of League is just making sure that, you know, the whole thing isn't really decided in the first 5 minutes, and then you're playing, you know, 20 to 40 minutes of something where you know the outcome. You know, you got to be able to stick in there, know when you can pick up those shutdowns, and just swing the momentum back in your team's favor.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because in the last game there was quite a few times where there were those opportunities, but it's also a kind of a risk you got to take, but sometimes you need that calculated risk because what's going on isn't working.
All right, here we go. Blackfoot and Mountain Home now ready with their drafts. We'll see what the first bans are going to be brought out.
Samira. Yeah, that one, if there is a Samira player on a team, like that's always a pick that you never want to see because, you know, she could fall behind and be useless, or she's just a 1v5 pentakill machine. You never know.
Yeah, and that goes into kind of the question we're trying to ask is how much scouting has been done, you know, for either of these teams. If it is a conference championship, then you assume that these two teams are kind of more well-known in the overall high school league.
Another Kazakhs ban. Okay. Yeah, maybe there's a Kazakhs player on there. That, like I said, in last game, I feel like you never see Kazakhs picked or banned, except by like someone with a pocket pick or something like that.
Maybe the first two picks, the first two bans that we're seeing here is showing just a little bit of cognizance of what the other team is really good at.
Yeah, the Akshan ban, fair enough. I know Akshan is a pet peeve kind of character where, like, if you don't like him, you really don't like fighting Akshan. Just that ability to revive dead teammates if you get the one kill can just be game-changing, especially in the late game when death timers are like 40 seconds and just you get 4 of them, Akshan gets that person, then boom, the whole team's back up. Very demoralizing.
Yep, those res abilities can also be some of them, can often just be the most powerful abilities in games, you know. It's like you're just basically resetting the whole team fight. Or you're playing, you know, it's not 5v5, it's almost 6v5.
Yeah, it's like nothing like, oh, we all died, but he created 1 kill, so now all that work gone. So, Leona ban here. Yeah, that one's one of my personal bans, so I feel that. Just Leona, such an oppressive laner, like just overstepping 1 inch and you get hit by her Dawnblade, I think it's called, and it's just over, so. Felius coming out here. A lot of ADC bans. Granted, Akshan's more of a mid lane ADC, but a lot of marksmen just being banned out here for the side of Blackfoot.
And just kind of makes you wonder what the talent is behind these individual picks and bans. If there is just kind of that star player waiting in the wings and you're just trying to take away all of their options at once.
Like, we can deal with the rest of the team, let's just deny as much as we can. Tryndamere as well. That one also just, yeah, Tryndamere can be a 1v5 menace if played properly with that split pushing style. Just being able to press R and just not care about dying, you know. Very fun ability to have to fight.
I always prefer Silas is going to be the first one chosen for Blackfoot. So now we get in the possibility of ults being stolen, which is always fun.
Yeah, interesting to bring it out first, but at the same time, like, you're not going to change your whole comp based on Silas.
Sure.
So, yeah, I can see the thought process of picking it first. See what Bishop, or Mountain Home, excuse me, brings out here coming up. Oh, there's
they're going to bring out the Thresh. That's what I wanted to see.
Yeah, see how good of value they can get out of this. That Lantern just so good for just bringing in ganks and stuff, and like a good Thresh is just game changing.
Well, and we also saw, you know, if you can land those abilities significantly, I mean, we saw how good that was on the Amumu with all those bandage tosses,
like,
too.
That just changes the entire lane, like if you can land them or not. Okay, Tristana coming out here. Good assassin-like marksman coming out. Into the Thresh, that's an interesting choice, but I think you can play around it as Tristana. But that certainly stops your, I'm just going to press W, E them, and just hope they die. Because Thresh can just flay you away. So
Next pick is going to round out the first 3 picks for Blackfoot.
The Soraka coming out here. Lots of good healing and sustain for that lane. Maybe the idea is they'll out-endure the lane, just having that constant flow of healing.
Now Mountain Home is going to get 2 picks for themselves.
Yeah, we'll have to see what comes out here in response. We got a Kayn pick. Very, very good if it can get ahead. It's also a very risky pick because I've seen games where Kayn doesn't get formed till 25 minutes, and at that point he's just not a champion. So,
and a lot of the games we've seen today have been closed out at the 25-minute mark as well.
Yeah. Granted, if they can get, I don't even know if he'd go Assassin Kayn or Rost in this situation. I guess we'd have to see the rest of the team comp. But if he can get form early and just become that mid-game menace, like that could be very favorable.
And Ornn is going to be brought out as the last pick for Mountain Home before we get into the last 2 bans.
Yeah, never can go wrong with Ornn. Just ridiculous scaling with that item crafting. Solid tank, the Ornn Horn, like it's called the Ornn Horn for a reason, so just one of the best engages in the game.
Oh, and there's the soul that you brought that up at the very beginning of the night, saying we might see that banned.
I was waiting for it. I was surprised neither team picked it. It does take a bit to get online, but when he does, just Aurelion Soul's so strong. The only downside is if they have lots of crowd control. Just if you can't stop his Q or even reach him, and he's just allowed to use his E and his Q constantly, you're not getting out. Victor ban, okay, good to see. Victor can just be very good. I think he's very good into Silas, if I remember correctly. So yeah, I can see not wanting to face that. Maybe they have a Victor player as well.
Maybe it's just a general ban to make sure there isn't anything that counters their comp too heavily. And Teemo ban brought out by Mountain Home. Okay.
Yeah, fair enough. Never want to face a Teemo.
I mean, that's true.
Like
but let's separate. Like let's go the bigger picture of like, is it just a personal? I just never want to face a Teemo, or is this a very strategic pick?
Teemo is the game of can I survive how annoying he is, and then you beat him eventually. Okay. Oh, the Senna ban here. Interesting, because I guess maybe is there an ADC Senna player on here? Because as an ADC Senna main, like, yeah, that would have been cool to see. But
It would have been cool to see.
Yeah.
It's always nice to see your main be brought out, but
yeah, well, every time I see a Senna, they're a support Senna.
but I think the fact that we that we probably had, you know, in our program the biggest Garen champion of all, you know, the biggest rooter in Glovely, trying to always say, you know, you can always pick the Garen, and then the one semester just after the graduation comes through, Garen is picked 2 times. I mean, so
Yeah.
if that doesn't if that just doesn't say that your main is never going to be picked when you're around, I don't know what does.
Yeah, and so, yeah, after I leave, we will guarantee that'll be in every game afterwards.
And Caitlyn brought out for Mountain Home.
Yep.
She was banned a little bit earlier in the night. Now she's going to be out in full force.
Caitlyn Thresh, very scary lane. One hook, even one flay, and you could just die just if those bear traps get chained together. Gonna be very I think that Soraka pick into that lane is really good. As long as they don't get hooked, like the Soraka's just gonna be able to sustain through all that poke and keep them sustained overall in this lane. They might be able to come out ahead.
Warwick.
Okay. Don't see Warwick too often, but solid champion. Got the infinite duress. That'll be probably really good against the Kayn, actually. Stop Kayn from being able to ult at opportune times and just being a good disruptor in the enemy team.
Now we just have 1 pick left for each team.
Oh, we got the Varus, actually. Now the question is that a mid lane Tristana or a mid lane Varus? Because both can be played bot or mid. So we will have to see.
Well, what do you think goes? Which one is the better pick? You know, if we're thinking if it can go either bot or mid, and we're talking about how strong the Thresh Caitlyn combo can be in the bot lane. You know, who do you want to put in the bot against that?
I feel like you'd want the Varus in the bot lane here, just because you'd be able to match the poke and just survive. Tristana will have a lot better time in the mid lane. I guess that means that's a Sylas top then too.
I was faked out for a moment there.
Okay. Yeah, we'll have to see where these roles get or these characters get distributed around here, because I feel like you could have the I don't think you'd put Tristana top. You could. I feel like it's Tristana mid and Sylas top, but we will see as we get into this. And then on top of that, we got to wonder, is the Varus, because you got so many Varus builds now. You got AP, you got lethality, and you got just a regular ADC Varus. So we got to see what choice they're going to have in this game.
Well, everything is all lined up. If you look at it overall, who do you think came out on top?
Ooh, that's a tough one. I feel like overall, I'm kind of liking Mountain Home's draft a little better. It's just a very well-rounded team. You got 2 tanks, maybe 3 if it's a Rost. If they go Assassin, you got 2 tanks, an Assassin, a safe ADC, and a good solid mage. So you got kind of a little bit of everything. While Blackfoot's comp is very...
We're still trying to figure out where everyone goes.
Yeah. They have a lot of good stuff in it. Like, you got Sylas, who's going to be very versatile. You can still Vigarl. You can still Kaynel. Ornhorn, those are 3 really good ults. Okay, and so we just heard it's actually Sylas jungle and Warwick top, which the Warwick pick, I kind of like that in the top lane, because typically you only see a Warwick top lane if they really know how to play Warwick. And they feel really comfortable in their damage output and their playstyle. And then I believe with the new jungle changes with the pets, Sylas jungle has started to become an actual thing. It used to be a fringe thing before that where it barely worked, and if you could get ahead, it was good. But now Sylas jungle is pretty versatile, especially being able to steal like Ornhorn and starting to engage ganks with it. That could be very deadly to see.
I was thinking that Mountain Home's team is just kind of the overall comp of very dependable, anchors, champions that we've known for a long time that are just well-rounded in all aspects.
Yeah, the only one that I think is like slightly risky out of all those is the Kayn pick, and even then, like as long as you're getting some ganks off, you're going to get form eventually. But yeah, the rest of the comp is like Ornn, you just live. And you just become the ultimate tank in the late game.
Yep.
So.
And then you're upgrading everyone's items at the very end as well.
Yeah, and I mean, upgrading a Vigar, even more AP on Vigar, I don't think that's anything the enemy team wants to see. So I think the Sylas, though, is going to be the big decider in these games here. Or if the Tristana can get ahead early, if that is a Tristana mid. I also got to preface that because I don't know which is which. But if this Tristana can get ahead and just become that infinite rocket jump, Goomba stomping menace that they've been known to be, that could be really good.
So we're actually hearing now that Tristana has been put in ADC.
Okay, so it is the Varus mid. Now, got to go back to the multiple Varus builds. I'm assuming this is either lethality Varus or AP Varus, because you probably wouldn't put ADC Varus in the mid lane. AP Varus is just ridiculous at destroying tanks, so that Ornn and that Thresh could just be deleted instantly, and even a Rost if they pick Kayn decides to go that. So that could be a really good pocket pick, because I feel like AP Varus, no one expects the damage, but when it's doing almost your entire health bar in one burst, it's just so demoralizing if you're the one person they keep focusing.
Well, and to start out, the first 3 bans we saw for both teams, I mean, there were a lot of bans of those champions that, as you said, have that 1v5 potential, just have that pop-off potential. And so I wonder if there's maybe just a little respect in terms of the player's skill, if you know that, hey, we've got really skilled players on the other team that can take us on 1v5 if we give them the right champ, then what that spells for how the game overall is going to play forward.
Yeah, and kind of looking at these drafts, I think we mentioned earlier how this is a very big match here, that both these teams are really you can tell both these teams had a game plan with this. Especially on the side of Blackfoot, you never knew where anyone was going to be. They had all these flex picks that I feel like they could have just picked, and then they're we'll decide if they're going mid or jungle later, but we can just pick them now. And then, so they had that. I feel like they had that plan beforehand.
I do feel like both teams had a very set strategy. The problem is that I'm still trying to wonder where the Teemo ban fit in this particular strategy for Mountain Home. That's the one question mark I have.
Yeah, well, it's always socially acceptable to ban Teemo.
That is true, yeah. Maybe just trying to get some good karma to be going on.
The good luck ban.
Yeah, the good luck ban. Yeah, sometimes, sometimes superstitions work out, The SIBO effect is not something to be taken lightly.
No, it is not. Going into this, is there any specific character that you think is going to play a key role?
I'm sorry, I didn't catch that last part.
Do you think there's any specific champion for either side that's going to be a linchpin in these comps?
I mean, I think you were saying, a big portion is going to be how well can the Sylas steal some of these ultimates. If he can get some great engaging ultimates like the Ornhorn, then I think there's going to be a whole bunch of more possibilities opened up for Blackfoot. But I'm also wondering, when we're looking at the bot lane, the Caitlyn Thresh, I'm really curious to see for Mountain Home how the coordination is going to be brought on that. Can they line up those traps? Can they work together effectively? Because it's a really good comp if you're able to work together. It's just you got to be able to have that communication be.
Yes, because it's not as simple since Thresh Hook moves them, and same with Thresh Flay. Sometimes you can knock them away from the trap or back into it. So it's very much dependent on both the players to kind of have that knowledge and that experience playing together with that comp, as well as just knowing what the other person's going to do.
And that coordination can also be one of the main things that kind of falls away. If you think about League just the way it's structured as a game, and we can, see the momentum being built up, it really tests a team's ability to mentally reset and treat everything as if it's a 0-0 game. They're not 7K ahead on gold. Let's see what we can do best in this particular engagement. What objectives or picks that we can get. And so often when you get a team that's starting to get tilted or a little bit off focus, communication or that coordination can often be some of the first things to go. Everyone just kind of clams up and just goes on
so
autopilot.
got to make sure that they maintain that mental and just you got to be unfazed no matter what happens, and you should be able to succeed with this. Especially both these teams are very their kits are very fundamentally sound, so it's like you don't have to be way ahead in gold for these kits to function. You just need to like stay even and stay calm and stay focused.
I mean, if there's anyone you can ask, it's DRX, you know, when they went up against Team 1, you know. There were so many moments during that best-of-5 match, I was like, oh, how are they going to recover from this? And they kept their heads cool in the game. So at the highest levels, you know, still the fundamentals of just making sure that you're playing at your best and not letting the nerves get to you, carry you far.
Yep. Getting into this first game, we see it looked like there was starting to be an invade, but they were spotted out on the side of Blackfoot, so they're just going to start spreading out and making sure. We see on the side of Mountain Home, they got a 5-point going out here, just making sure they've covered every angle where an invade can come from to make sure no one gets in there jungle without them knowing. Just kind of waiting for the game. Looks like not too much is going to happen in this opening as both these teams kind of set up. Just playing it safe. I think both these teams don't really have the best level 1 unless Vygar took Cage first. So there's not really a point to invade here.
Both teams just showing each other kind of the proper respect to start things off. We'll see red buff be picked up to start things off for Blackfoot.
Yeah, we got... Oh, there's Tristana. I actually didn't see them. Their model was right on Soraka, so I'm like, I only see one of them. We see the Warwick over here. This should be... I don't know if Warwick will be able to actually kill, but Warwick should be able to just sustain through everything in this top lane matchup. See just a little bit of poke going on here. It's throwing out the hook. Actually hits Tristana. Massive hit. Good damage already. Just 2 minutes into the game.
Still no major leads being brought up. Not that there's too much time for major lead, but there's a lot of poke damage being brought out in this bot lane. So I'm seeing a little bit of, I'm cautiously optimistic for that.
Yeah, and the Varus took Hail of Blades, which does not narrow down what build they're going, because I believe both AP and Lethality go Hail of Blades, so we'll just have to wait till first item to see what route they're going. Some good poke going in from the Ornn here. Just getting some hits in where they can. Gotta just make sure they don't spend too much mana on this.
A whole lot of traps set down in the bot lane. And both tanks just content to keep on farming through the next few minutes.
Yep, we got mostly nothing going on here. Both these team comps are a little mid-game heavy, so not going to see too much unless we can get like a good thresh hook or a good gank. Actually, as I say that, it looks like we're going to have an invade. Good damage. Ends up having to flash away. Arcade is running, gets away with their life, but it most likely going to lose their red buff for it, which is huge. Kind of something you got to do to Kane early is just abuse the fact that they're... Oh, Zombie Killer gets the hook into the trap. Looks like Shovel, though, going to keep Tristana alive, and they get out of there. Actually didn't blow any summoners there. Really good control on the side of Blackfoot, not panicking and blowing those summoner spells, and still burning the Thresh Ignite.
It's 2 for 2 overall that I'm counting on the Thresh Hook ratio, so overall you're batting at a perfect 1.0 for now. We'll see if that holds for the rest of the game.
Yeah. You mentioned these Thresh Hooks are going to be a big deciding factor here, and we're already seeing that in spades.
I mean, they basically, if it lands, and the Caitlyn has been right there, Emperor Jar Jar with the follow-up damage, it's basically completely forced Blackfoot back every time it's landed.
Yes. And then we actually did see them play into the bear trap where we were talking about that coordination with that combo needed, and they seem to have that pretty well down.
And look at the also the CS just for the Caitlyn already has opened up a 10 minion lead basically. So this Caitlyn could be very, very scary in the next 5 or 10 minutes.
Caitlyn is still staying though, a little low on mana. Could be a little dangerous into this comp. We see Zombie Killer at full HP though. We see Prairies walk up for a gank, but they are on a ward. Oh, we see Prairies gets hooked, actually. Zombie Killer takes a teeny bit of damage, loses her bone plating, but walks away. The warding here, just no sweepers yet, so unfortunately no one's able to clear it.
Out and home, heading back to base. A lot more purchases come out.
It's the 3 Blight stacks and Proxim. Very good damage there from Ramen. Just some good CSing. That's kind of what you need in this situation. Varus needs these items to be effective, so you don't have to win the early game. You don't have a ton of kill pressure till level 6 with your ultimate, but you just need to make sure you get your items.
We're already seeing a few of the players start to break that crucial 6th level. Raraman and Haijo have done it for Blackfoot. And it's pretty much the same, both lanes, both the top and mid lanes have their ults now available, ready to use.
Yeah, we see Emperor Jar Jar coming back with a pickaxe here compared to the Tristana coming back with a dagger. Very big, almost gets that bear trap. Would have been massive for the side of Mountain Home. Kind of getting some poking. Still have a bit of the wave here. Lands to Q. See Zombie Killer just kind of hanging out in that brush, unable to get weeded out, so they kind of just constantly keeping pressure from that side. It's trying to clear wave and keep shoving in. Tristana's very, actually gets the root, gets the headshot damage, but unfortunately there was no way to follow up on that. But still some good poke coming out.
CS lead that Caitlyn had early on, this Tristana is being able to keep up with it fairly well so far. Isn't letting the lead go beyond 10 that much. Speaking of lead, I mean, the only thing we have is basically a 500 gold lead for Mountain Home. So normally at this time, I think in the past 2 games, we saw teams that were already up to like a 3K gold lead. So this is a lot more slower pace.
Yeah, both these teams just focusing on the fundamentals, getting good CS and trying not to take too many risky trades early. We've seen a Zombie Killer only really engage when they knew they had a good hook opportunity. And they're just playing it really smart. Gonna get some, clear some wards here. Get some, deny some vision for the side of Blackfoot.
Now both of the bot laners for Mountain Home have hits level 6. Crucially, Meister, both of them are still at level 5. So maybe for one engagement here.
Nope.
There they go.
The window is very small, and Blackfoot just does a really good job. They're like, oh, we're down level 6 here. Let's wait a second. You see Silas coming in here. This could be big. Unfortunately, misses the E. Oh, hook coming on to shovel here. Gets some good damage in, but picks up steals the box. We see Arcade coming in. Lantern comes out, chasing down, getting the hook out. Lands onto the Silas. Silas drops there. Oh, nope, that was the Thresh. Drops the box. Zombie Killer almost dies, forced to flash away. And then, nice little skirmish in the mid lane. And then the top lane being top lane.
And the top lane, you know, the pool noodle fight that we're all familiar with. And Arcade isn't going to be found out this time, so at least he's going to be able to pick up, you know, this jungle objective. I mean, granted, it's no, you know, red buff or blue buff that he has to give up, but He's glad that the Silas isn't hunting him down quite so yet.
Yeah. I believe the Kane is planning on going Rost here, which in this team comp, probably a good thing, just to be able to deal with Silas and Warwick. They do have the Conqueror, but I don't believe Assassin Kane takes Conqueror anymore. So
The killer now off of the Reese.
Ooh, Meister gonna have to dodge this hook. And ooh, playing it risky, still staying in this lane. Probably should have just based at the same time as the Soraka, because now you're in that awkward situation where you're half HP with a lot of gold down, but you're stuck enduring in this lane.
The first objective, the first Rift Herald, has been picked up by Blackfoot. So it's the team that, not by much, but has been trailing in gold all this time. That's going to be a nice little boost to pick up. Ocean Drake is the first one online. Looks like Mountain Home is going to give up that Rift Herald for the chance of the first dragon.
Yep, I don't believe the Rift has spawned quite yet. So this is just going to be for the most part, a free dragon here. Don't even know. I don't think they can contest it just because the Tristana wasn't able to back. The item advantage is just too great at that point. Some good poke coming off from the Soraka here.
Also, the attempted ganks by the Silas down into the bottom lane have been pretty well caught out by Mountain Home thus far. There haven't been too many situations so far where I think they've been caught completely off guard. They've been pretty well adjusted to it.
Yeah, the Warwick also doing a really good job of CSing. Up about 15 CS at the moment.
He's kind of, both these teams are pretty even. I mean, you've got the Warwick leading in top lane for Blackfoot, but then the Caitlyn's leading in bot lane. And the Rift Herald's going to be brought out onto the top lane. Probably get at least one charge onto that turret.
Kane does show up, but they're just going to walk away. Steal the Kane while they're going out, though. And some good gold off of that. Managed to pick up, I believe, a plate. Get some value out of it. We see Ornn actually got a Brambles Vest, which is going to be really good in this matchup. Cut down some of the lifesteal that this Warwick is able to get, which is very important because that's kind of Warwick's whole deal. So,
Here we go.
very smart early purchase here from the Ornn. Prairie's kind of moving around, seeing what they can find. See, the Varus actually bought a coal here. Looks like they just plan on farming out and just taking the gold investment so they can get to their power spike a little bit quicker. Most likely means they don't plan on really fighting here at this point. The unfortunate thing about playing Tristana in this bot lane is you can never freeze lane because of her E passive always doing AoE damage to other minions. So it's kind of hard for them to kind of just keep the lane back. Popping that bone plating from Zombie Killer here. We do see Emperor Jar Jar does have Gale Force here. Big item advantage. This could be a potential fight here.
Still so far, I mean, 15 minutes into this match, and we still have, almost 15 minutes in this match, we still haven't got the first blood.
Yep. Good damage there, but as Warwick does, gonna just heal all that back up. Has Blade of the Ruined King now as well. We see Emperor Jar Jar and Zombie Killer doing a really good job of zoning. Actually gets the hook onto Shovel Maniac. Meister getting some good damage in, is forced to rocket jump away, and they take quite a chunk of damage, but this being a Soraka lane, they should just be able to heal a lot of that up. control ward being taken care of, though. Gonna lose some of that control around this area, especially Dragon's most likely coming up pretty soon here. And yes, this is an AP Varus. We do see the Nasher's Tooth coming out, so most likely looking to just do very high burst damage, most likely to the tank front line, as well as just that utility of the R spreading to other players around it.
Getting pretty close to the second Dragon and Rift Herald spawning in. Despite the one charge that Blackfoot was able to get in the top lane, there hasn't been any first blood, any tower really to be spoken of. Third plating has also dropped. About as even as you could possibly hope for. Hook goes out. That's the first miss I've seen.
Can't hit them all. You can just hit most of them. That was a very scary moment. Because I do not believe that, or I believe Ultimate would have had to have been burned at the very least to get out of that hook for the Soraka.
Well, the hook does land. And again, Prairie's, every time he's really tried to come down for a potential gank onto bot lane, he's been hooked by the Thresh and caught out. Is Warwick going down below half health, but still going to be able to tank it out.
Yeah. Is it gonna, nope. Just gonna lifesteal back up again. We see, oh, that hook just barely, oh. Flash into the cage, gets the root, gonna press the R, not quite enough damage. Another flash and another R. Soraka ult though, just isn't enough, and that'll be first blood. It just took 2 flashes and 2 ultimates. Oh, they had the ward. Oh, it was a bait. Gets the good stun. Caitlyn R coming out as well. And that'll be a second kill. What a bait.
Now there's going to be some free tower damage picked up by Watermark. Also probably another dragon going over toward Mountain Home. This one, the Cloud Drake.
Yeah, they spotted out, but do not have anyone around to do much about it. We'll see what the Rift will transform into from here. It looks like it is the Mountain Drake. Or no, it's the Inferno. Excuse me. There we go. Another high-stakes dragon for this game.
Which I always like if Inferno is the sole one. It always makes these dragons so high stakes. And talk about objective trading. Blackfoot is going to try to pick up this Rift Herald. Prairies comes in and is able to sling Arcade.
See Ramen on the collapse as well. Looks like they're just kind of backing off. Not much you can do about that. Not much really happened after that. Looks like they just got Rift Herald and walked away.
So that's 2 dragons for Mountain Home, 2 Rift Heralds for Blackfoot. And once again, the gold differential has been put down sub 1,000.
Gets the play.
Oh boy. Gets
and
the
the hook.
And the hook.
So smart, just holding the hook and just walking up and flaying right there. You can wait till they flash away or start to get far enough away, but you don't have to throw that hook. Gonna use Herald. I believe that'll be first tower. Very good use out of this Herald. And it should be able to get a second charge on here. It does manage to do that. Very good Herald usage, kind of evening the gold back up here. Oh, it looks like we do have Rost out on the field as well. So this will be a little more difficult as we get further into this now.
and still just traditional top lane gameplay. Still waiting for something really to happen here 20 minutes into the match, but this is the kind of top lane that I was looking forward to, so just means we're going to have some incredible team fights later on.
Like finally some good top lane gameplay.
Gordon, frankly.
Good back and forth here. Just, yeah, both these characters just so tanky, you can't ever actually beat each other. Oh. Ooh,
Prairies
good bait.
comes in. This is the first gank, I think, that he's going to land. Zombie is going to find himself in an odd place. The box is going to be thrown down. Zombie Killer just hanging on. Watermelon gets the first pick on to shove. A double. Heading over to Mountain Home.
Very unfortunate. Ramen managed to land the Varus ult, but before they could fire the Q, Tristana actually ulted them away. This could be a possible dive. I believe we do have Rost ult up, so they have a very good tool for this dive, and it looks like Ramen, sensing that, decided to just give up the turret.
First turret now. Up for grabs in terms of Mountain Home.
Blue team's turret has been destroyed. Blue team's turret has been destroyed.
Yep, 2 turrets actually going down. Quite a bit of gold going to the side of Mountain Home here as we're starting to see a slight gold lead develop. Granted, this is at 21 minutes now. A lot closer game as we've had just both these teams just play so cautiously, and all that's happening is these slight mistakes now from both sides. That's the only time we're seeing these openings. They're just both playing phenomenally.
Is there anything overall in terms of items that's catching your eyes?
Not entirely at the moment. I feel like both these are fairly standard items. The Varus is going for the Rift Maker as their mythic item, which is fairly good for the Varus with AP Varus, because you hit him with the R, and then you wait the second for all 3 Blight procs before you hit him with your Q, and that allows Riftmaker to stack for a second and give you bonus true damage in your burst. But I don't know how fundamental it is here. We got a good engage from Prairies into Torquilla. The Oranhorn popping off. Both the Oranhorns popping off. Yeah, good fight here. So much sustain from the Soraka, but no damage to follow it up. We do see the Varus actually picking up some good kills here. Gain some good AP damage in. Gets stunned, gets CC'd. Are they able to get him? They actually pick up 1. Gonna get some more damage. And Ramen managing to salvage some of that situation. So it was a 2 for 4 instead of a 4 for 0. It looks like that'll be a 3rd dragon, as Soraka, being the only champion on the field, not going to be able to defend that. We do see Emperor Jar Jar's Gale Force getting upgraded to the Typhoon from Torquilla.
And that's going to be 3rd dragon picked up. And they're all going to move back, try to spend all that newfound gold that they have. It's the largest gold lead that we have seen so far this match. They're up to a 3K lead. Blackfoot has been usually pretty well at trading for objectives, so.
Yeah. So they are down 3 dragons at this point. This next dragon is going to be huge for this game, as once the Infernal Soul goes down, there's going to be no more dragons other than Elder, so not really going to be a chance to pick up any of them. But if Blackfoot can start picking up these dragons, they're all going to be Infernal Dragons. You could potentially get 4 Infernal Dragons and Soul. Prairie's coming in, misses the chains. Meister also going in, focusing the Caitlyn, gets ulted by Arcade. Prairie's moving out, goes back in, trying to do what damage they could. Really good W by Arcade getting both. Shovel now just running away, but unfortunately,
oh, no.
Yep. And then top lane.
And then back to the relative calm of top lane.
No matter what goes on the map, we can know top lane's reliable.
Again, now these time penalties are really starting to add up. We're getting north of 20 seconds.
Rama needs to be really careful here. Had no vision.
Oh.
Barely dodges the hook. Oh, Torquilla just barely missing the timing on that. Some good poke in here, though. See Torquilla just stacking this armor, making it so difficult for Warwick to actually do anything. While they haven't died and they're CSing in a while, they just, the sheer utility from Ornn is pulling out ahead at the moment.
Also got quite a big amount of the gold bounty on this Caitlyn, who hasn't fallen once.
See, stepped in a Caitlyn trap. Gonna get hooked as well. You see 3 of them. Prairies. See Ramen go down. We see a TP coming out as well for the Vigar. Torquilla's here as well. Prairies goes down, and now Shovel just forced to retreat. I don't believe they'll be able to catch, though. And I believe that's a Baron.
Should be. It's going to be brought down to low health. Should be pretty fast, I would assume.
We see some objective bounties, though, at the very least being traded by Meister here. Getting what they can on the other side of the map. So that they can somewhat balance this out.
There you go. That's Baron secured for Mountain Home.
Meister might be able to get a second turret off this as well. They do need to be careful, as these Baron recalls are going to get everyone on the field faster, but that should be it. It's 2 objective bounties claimed. A pretty good response to the Baron. Elder Dragon, or not Elder, Soul will be most likely coming up soon. See this Ornn taking a nice chunk of damage. Does have to be careful. If anyone can one-shot them, it will be this Varus.
Prairies coming up from Prairies.
Juke's out. Ornhorn coming out. Torquilla forced to flash. Good use of the W to stop the CC. Gets hit by a Q, but no blight stacks. That is the problem with AP Varus, is if you have no blight stacks, you're not doing damage. Meister taking... Oh, and then the ultimate.
Now the old one shot, one kill. This is quickly becoming a runaway situation with this Caitlyn.
Yep, Arcade and gets hit by the stun, and unfortunately that's it.
Red team's turret has been destroyed. Killing spree.
Watermark just doing such a good job of being in the right spot at the right time.
Blue team's turret has been destroyed.
Infernal Drake up in 10. We see gets the infinite duress. We see Ramen lands the ultimate. Should do quite a bit of damage to Zombie Killer here. Zombie Killer forced to flash. Shovel flashes after him. We see TP coming out, I believe, from Ornn. Not able to burst down Zombie Killer.
Oh my goodness.
Shovel actually dies in the process. Runs into the bear trap. Ornhorn coming out as well. Ramen should be able to get some good damage in here. Yeah, we can see this AP Varus just doing chunks, but not able to do too much after that. Arcade coming out. And that is also Infernal Soul for the side of Mountain Home. We see Prairies coming in. Steals the Vigar, unfortunately gets caught in the cage and just disappears.
Both the 2 players of Mount Home will be more than content to head back as the T2 turret in mid is claimed.
Ooh,
Oh, Joe
actually,
gets hooked.
Ooh. Unfortunately, no follow-up on that.
No. That's the thing is Blackfoot has kind of, they've been able to kind of coalesce as a team and try to, you know, pick up a bounty here or there, but they haven't had the damage to close it out.
Yeah, unfortunately, a lot of these fights, they just don't have the burst damage with Tristana being a whole item behind. It's making it a little difficult to keep up, especially with how tanky the side of Mountain Home is, and only having Kraken Slayer while doing good damage just isn't enough here. Gets the
really low on health.
Ramen gonna get zombie off that. Ramen gets ulted. Unfortunately, gonna go down. Prairie's trying to keep up the fight, but no way to sustain the Silas. Goes back in. Shovel getting ulted. Meister gonna take it instead and almost dies. See, Prairie's going back in on Ornn, but Emperor Jar Jar is here to dish out the damage. Shovel trying their best to keep everyone alive, but just too much damage. Goes down to the Gale Force. Joe kind of holding out as long as they can. Infinite Duress goes out, but doesn't land. And all the while, Watermork just pushing the bot lane. See Meister trying to hold out, but there's not much they can do at this point.
It might just be enough of a time penalty here. I'm sure they're going to get at least one turret.
They press the out skill button. That
there
should
you go.
be it.
That should be it. Just burst down this final tower, go on to the Nexus, and you know, for the first 20 minutes or so, not a lot happened, but then the last 10 minutes, it was just...
Oh, yes. It was a nonstop roller coaster.
All right, so congratulations to Mountain Home for picking up the victory, and a very important one at that, the conference championship. And that should do it for all the league games that we have today. Any, final thoughts walking away? Getting 3 whole league games in for a day.
Yeah. I mean, it was just a blast to be up here and be able to cast league again, as well as just, especially this last game was such a good game. Like, I mentioned at the start, both these teams had a lot of stake in this, and they both showed up, and they both, you could tell they were playing to their fullest here and like really trying to hone in like mistakes. Like I said, for the most part, it was just very small mistakes until that lead started to build, and then just both these teams know how to keep that lead and hold it.
Well, congratulations to all of the teams that won, but that's going to do it for us today. So thank you for watching and joining us in the Idaho High School Championships for League of Legends. We hope you have a good Wednesday.